Right now at 5, one organization is making wishes come true for children right here in Rockford. Plus, how one tree has been dedicated on a property in DeKalb in honor of a resident. And fall festivities were in full swing this past weekend. How dozens gathered for a local favorite after years of cancellation because of the pandemic.
From 13 WREX, your weather authority. This is 13 News Today.
Good morning and welcome to 13 News Today. I'm Manny Estopinan. We're taking a look right now at downtown Rockford. Really, a very chilly start to this morning coming into the studio. Our meteorologist Kelsey Emrys joins us this morning to help us get started with our day. Kelsey, please tell me there's a chance it's going to get a little warmer today.
Unfortunately, Manny, we're not going to be getting that much warmer today. We're actually going to be getting colder. We're only going to be getting into the 30s to low 40s. We're not going to be seeing the warm up until the end of the week. So today and tomorrow will be starting to feel like January. We're seeing those chances of some snow flurries here as there's a low pressure system to our east, and that is bringing some cold air into the state line. Now we will be seeing temperatures in the 30s right now. You can see a very cloudy start to your day behind there on our WREX camera. 37 degrees right now, but because of those very gusty winds, temperatures only feel like they are in the 20s, and that's going to be most of the story for the rest of the day. Temperatures are in the 30s across the board. 35 in Mount Morris, 36 in Dixon, 35 in Sublette, and 36 in Poplar Grove. So give yourself plenty of time to get out. Maybe grab yourself an extra cup of coffee and grab your hat and scarf and anything that you want to keep warm, as it is going to be a very chilly start to the day. I'll have a full look at your forecast coming up in just a little bit. Manny, back over to you.
Thank you, Kelsey. We definitely need a second cup of coffee this morning. Your 13 News time is 5:01. Let's get our top story this morning. After a 2-year hiatus, the Rockford Area Crop Hunger Walk is open and back in person. The Crop Hunger Walk began at Riverfront Museum Park, and over 30 religious and civic organizations as well as businesses supported 200 walkers and raised money from sponsors. The goal this year was 250 walkers, raising an average of $100. The money will be shared with local food pantries and worldwide hunger relief through Church World Service, the largest and best equipped.
We have a homeless problem. People have seen that here in Rockford. This is one way to give to a good organization that not only helps, but makes sure that the money goes directly where it's needed.
The walk was free and open to the public, and individual walkers were able to donate $20 each. Making wishes come true, that's the goal of one organization who's making efforts to impact the lives of children right here in Rockford. The Make-A-Wish Foundation is holding walks across the state of Illinois to not only spread awareness, but also raise funding for children with serious illnesses and health challenges. Here in Rockford, dozens of families came together to help celebrate the progress those children have made. Make-A-Wish Foundation leaders say they are willing to do whatever they can do to help those in need.
When you tell the kid that they can dream and they can dream of anything, to sit down and hear what ideas they've come up with is always amazing. And the amazing thing about Make-A-Wish is there isn't much, and that's what they tell us volunteers, there isn't much that they can dream of that Make-A-Wish won't make happen for them.
To find more about the Make-A-Wish Foundation, visit our website at WREX.com. Some positive local news for you. A tree has been dedicated on the Glidden Homestead property in honor of a DeKalb resident. Stephen L. Johnson died February 17, 2020, and a hawthorn tree was planted in his honor during a rag tree ceremony yesterday. Family members of Johnson Glidden board members each tied a rag to the tree to represent a wish, aspiration, or memory. Friends and family of Johnson, as well as community members, are welcome to visit the homestead every Sunday from noon to 4 and add a rag to the tree. On Friday, dozens of people gathered downtown for Rockford Art Scene. The Rockford Art Scene biannual art gallery is organized by the Rockford Arts Council. The event highlights local artists, giving them the chance to sell and share the inspiration behind their work. Owner of the Cortman Art Gallery say this is a great opportunity for his business and all aspiring artists.
It's always a lively event because there's lots of galleries open all at the same time. So people move around and get a chance to be exposed to the visual arts, which was the idea behind it. My partner and I, Jerry Cortman, were one of the founders of this event 30-some years ago. So it's been around a really long time.
Friday wrapped up the two-day event, but don't worry, as preparations are already underway for the Spring Art Fest in about 6 months. The cool weather is making the perfect conditions for fall festivities. Dozens gathered in Byron for a local favorite. 13's WREX Dexton Howard has that story.
The Byron Chili Fest is back after years of cancellation because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Leaders from the Byron Chamber of Commerce say they are glad this event is back to help support business owners.
So Chili Fest this is our 11th year doing Chili Fest, minus a few years that we had to miss. So it's just a great family fun event, and anytime that you can bring people where we can showcase our downtown, it's a benefit to our community, local businesses, and just all around to the town.
Each group competing in the Chili Cook-Off represents one of the locally owned businesses in the area.
We have quite the variety of chilies and from different teams. So we have some from our local OSF clinic, we have an attorney's office, Testicle Arnquist, and then we have 4 of our local businesses right here downtown.
Eric Arnquist says he's grateful for the opportunity and happy to see the community come together.
And all these different businesses from all different aspects. We had an issue, we didn't have enough weight for our tent. We had people helping out, we had people giving us different spices, helping us out the whole way through, and it's always good to support the community.
The square was filled with dozens from throughout the state line who say they hope the festival is here to stay.
I'm so happy to be doing things like this again after COVID, and getting out in the community and eating and drinking. How can you go wrong?
This year marked the 11th annual Chili Fest. Turning now over to our meteorologist, Kelsey Emery, with what we need to know before we head out the door this morning. Kelsey, let the people know.
Yeah, we're going to be starting off really cold this morning, so this afternoon might be a perfect time to have some of that chili or even soup. Soup weather is right around the corner. Temperatures right now are in the 30s, 37 degrees right now in Freeport, with temperatures feeling like in the 20s because of that wind as well. So temperatures across the board are in the 30s, 37 in Rockford, 37 in Rochelle, and 35 in Mount Morris. But because of that wind, we're going to be very gusty and very cold for the rest of the day, and we're struggling to warm into the 30s and the 40s for the day. And as you can see, by noontime, only 39 degrees with cloudy skies and very windy conditions. I'll have a full look at your forecast and when we could see some snowflakes fly in the sky this afternoon coming up in just a little bit. Manny, back over to you.
Kelsey, thank you for the forecast. This week's Inspiring 815 recipient can be found helping some of the most vulnerable populations, the homeless. John Hazelwood knows what it's like to fall on hard times. Now he serves as a symbol for our community. Our 13 WREX's Cassandra Brettel shows us how Hazelwood is proving that anyone can make it if they take this first step and get help.
The hardest part is coming through the door. After that, the help comes, life can turn around.
That brave first step is exactly what John Hazelwood did on Sunday afternoon in 2005. He walked into the Rockford Rescue Mission seeking help for his addictions and hasn't left since.
20 years in addiction, drug, alcohol addiction, and in and out of marriages and jobs and in and out of jail. And I finally got to the point where enough was enough. I knew that God had more for me to do than this.
Hazelwood immediately entered the Life Recovery Program. He then got a part-time job at the mission's thrift store. But Hazelwood wanted to make a positive difference at the exact place his life changed.
John's here to give back. You know, he was a resident here in our program, and he's been here ever since. And he has a strong need to give back to the people that he once was.
So how long have you been working? So I would oftentimes be the first person, or maybe the only person that person's seen when they come to the mission for help. And it just to have the ability to have an impact and to help in a situation at a crisis time is rewarding and a blessing.
He now works as the lead coordinator in the Men's Crisis Center, telling me he gives it all he's got.
What is it you really need right at this moment? And most of the time it's just a place to sleep,
With a strong work ethic and a sense of humility, Rockford Rescue Mission staff say Hazelwood provides comfort and assurance, telling anyone they too can turn their life around.
John is one of the most humble guys I know. He'll come in here every day and just work as hard as he can, and he makes my job just easy.
To offer hope and help and do it in a way that is lasting and sustaining.
Inspiring the 815 by stepping up when others are taking their first step forward. In Rockford, Cassandra Brettel, 13 WREX.
We need your help honoring and recognizing people in our community who are making a positive difference. You can nominate them by filling out the Inspiring 8-1 form on our website, WREX.com. Coming up, a nationwide shortage just announced from the FDA after pharmacies report having difficulties filling prescription for Adderall. What health experts say you should do. And for local news, weather, and sports on your schedule, make sure to download the 13 News app. Just search 13 WREX in the App Store or on Google Play. We'll be right back.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Chris Chumilevich at Dental Dimensions at Edgebrook Center, and most people think going to the dentist twice a year is good because you need to get your teeth cleaned. But let's talk about the importance of regular dental examinations. We recommend a checkup every 6 months so we can prevent and identify a variety of oral health problems. Each visit will be different based on your individual situation, but generally, checkups include several steps. We'll start by reviewing your concerns, your dental chart, and medical history so we can provide the most appropriate care for you. The checkup also includes cleaning your teeth. This enables us to clearly see the condition of your teeth and gums, and it removes the plaque, tartar, and bacteria that cause tooth decay and gum disease. If needed, we may polish your teeth to smooth their surface and remove stains. A regular checkup also includes a careful examination of your mouth. Some conditions we can see just by looking, so we'll do a visual exam to check for decay on the biting surface of teeth, signs of wear, cracks, or other problems with restorations, such as fillings and crowns, as well as any abnormal loss of tooth structure. At the same time, we'll check the color and contours of your gums. Red, swollen gums are often signs of gingivitis or periodontal disease. We'll use a periodontal probe to check the depths of the spaces between your teeth and gums. Readings deeper than 3 millimeters often indicate periodontal disease. We'll also diagnose sores or lesions on the soft tissues of your mouth, screening them for signs of oral cancer. Other conditions can't be seen easily, so we often take x-rays. X-rays show us decay between teeth and inside the teeth, and tartar on the teeth and tooth roots. X-rays also show us signs of periodontal disease, such as receding jawbone around the teeth. In addition, X-rays allow us to see cysts, abscesses, and other problems. Depending on the circumstances, we may also examine your jaw joint to help diagnose problems with your bite or TMJ. Sometimes checkups include additional treatments based on your individual situation, like fluoride treatments. Regular checkups are important because neglected dental conditions can lead to much more serious problems, such as infected teeth, tooth loss, shifting teeth, receding gums, loss of bone in the jaw, and painful jaw joints. With regular examinations, we can detect problems early and help you maintain your oral and overall health. So you can see there's more to going to the dentist than just getting your teeth cleaned. We're going to be checking to make sure that you are healthy, comfortable, that you have good function, and that you have good reasons to smile. That's it for Tooth Chatter. You can join us next week and every week for more dental news you can use right here on 13 News Today.
An announcement from the FDA about a commonly prescribed medicine because of manufacturing delays. The agency says there may be a shortage of some generic versions of Adderall. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on what a health expert says you should do if you can't fill a prescription for this medicine.
It's used to reduce symptoms of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, but the FDA says some generic versions of Adderall are in short supply.
It's the most well-established treatment for that by far. So this could be a significant issue for a lot of kids.
The agency's drug shortages webpage shows back orders for several generic forms of the drug are expected to last into March, as well as a back order on one name brand dosage that's expected to resolve this month. The FDA says one of the companies, Teva, is having intermittent manufacturing delays. While other companies continue to produce the drug, there isn't enough to meet demand. If you have trouble filling your prescription, pediatric psychologist Benjamin Fields with Nationwide Children says talk to your doctor.
There's other stimulant medications too, and they could talk about whether there's options that their medical provider thinks would be appropriate, and I would certainly have them do that.
Field says behavioral health experts can also help kids function with symptoms of ADHD. That may mean changes in things like homework during the shortage.
If a medication that they're utilizing to get through that is really essential and not available, maybe we make a call in the short term that we're going to change some of those demands.
In a statement, drug company Teva says we are fully committed to uninterrupted supply and continuing to manufacture and distribute as much product as possible each day. We are working closely with our manufacturing facility and the DEA to see what additional volume we may be able to support in the future. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Good morning and happy Monday. Hopefully you are having a great start to the week. Now it's going to feel a little bit chilly and almost like January compared to considering we're seeing these temperatures in the 30s, 37 degrees right now, and we're only feeling like we're in the 20s, 26 degrees, and that's because we're seeing this northwest wind at 23 miles an hour, and that's going to continue throughout the day. So that's going to be the main takeaway, is that we're going to be seeing very cold temperatures, unseasonably cold temperatures for that matter. We're seeing 37 in Rochelle, 37 in Rockford, 37 in Roscoe, and then even 36 in Winnebago. So we're going to be seeing these cold temperatures continue throughout the day. In fact, we're going to be struggling to warm into the upper 30s to low 40s, and that's going to be because of the cold wind and even going into the temperatures dropping as well. So you can see we're having those mostly cloudy skies, temperatures dropping, and wind as well. So 35 degrees by 10 a.m., 39 degrees by noontime. So definitely give yourself plenty of time to head out and give yourself time to bundle up, and this is what is responsible for that. We're on the other side of this low pressure system, and that's bringing all that cold air from Canada down into parts of the Midwest and into the state line as well, and that's why we're going to be seeing very chilly temperatures for today. Temperatures in the 30s, 39 degrees, blustery and cold conditions, afternoon flurries even, and very gusty winds up to 30 miles an hour this afternoon. So let's track some of those showers that we're seeing on future track. 10 a.m. there's nothing really to talk about. It isn't until the later in the afternoon, closer to the evening commute by 2:51, we're seeing those widespread snow showers as well, and they're going to be very quick to move into the area and move out of the area. This will probably be reducing visibilities and not accumulate to anything as well. We're just going to be keeping an eye on that, and we're going to be seeing very gusty winds, and that's why we're going to be seeing those visibilities go down, gusting into the 30-mile-an-hour range right around the 3 o'clock hour. So definitely keep an eye on the sky and keep an eye on the forecast. We're seeing temperatures drop again tonight, 27 degrees, mostly cloudy and still very breezy. But if you're not a fan of this cold, wait until the end of the week when we're gradually warming back into the 60s for the weekend and for your most accurate 10-day forecast. We're going to be gradually seeing those temperatures stay in the 60s for the long run. Manny, back over to you.
Coming up, thank you, Coach. I'm so sorry. I didn't know that was the... I'm sorry, Rachel. Yeah, I thought for some reason the tease was going to be a side. I don't know why. I'm so sorry.
It's also weird because it should be like coming up. Thank you for telling that update.
No worries. I think that was my fault. That was my fault.
No, it's also the way it's.
We're doing on 4 again. Is this the thing that Jeff said he didn't like? The Today's Talk thing?
Wait, why? What? It's the only time you can get conversation in. And personality. Why? Flips desk, I leave.
And not Mr. Foods.
Oh. Do they not like him either? What? But he brings in money.
Chat. Now, am I asking Kelsey this question first and then I'm tossing into the VO? And then after the VO, she's going to pop up on camera? Or are we talking about it first and then the VO?
I'm coming over.
Are we first talking about the chips and then I'm doing the VO? Yeah. Okay, we'll talk. We'll chat on cam about our favorite chips, right? After the vote, is that what you're saying? Okay. Kelsey, I'm gonna ask you like just briefly like what your favorite chip is, and I'll be like my favorite chip is something. They'll be like, Kelsey, what's your favorite chip? And then I'm gonna read the VO, and then we'll talk about the VO because I think it's better to talk about the VO.
And then talk about it afterwards too.
Yeah. Welcome back. We're taking a break from the major headlines for today's talk. Kelsey, are you a fan of Lay's potato chips? Do you personally have a favorite? Because mine has to be barbecue.
Mine is probably the Cape Cod chips.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a good one.
I'm from Massachusetts, so yeah.
Okay. Playing hometown favorite over here.
Yes, I am.
Just so you guys know, a luxury fashion house is charging hundreds of dollars for a bag of chips, minus the chips. Lay's posted these photos on Twitter showcasing a particular product from a recent Balenciaga fashion show. Some of the models could be seen walking the runway with unique bags inspired by Lay's potato chip bags. The bags come in at least 3 different designs, but they will not cost you around $4 like the ones at the grocery store. According to news reports, the Balenciaga leather Lay's chip bag costs around $1,800. Kelsey, am I going to be seeing you with a Balenciaga potato Lay's chip bag into the studio?
I can't imagine spending that much for a purse that looks like a bag of chips.
Yeah, and the worst part is you don't even get the chips.
Honestly, I feel like they should add inside the bag a bag of chips or something, like a mini bag,
at least,
or something. Yeah, like we're.
Yeah. Well, now we're going to be tossing it to weather. Kelsey, please, I heard you say snow flurries earlier.
Yeah.
Is that a reality?
Yeah, unfortunately it is. It's kind of getting colder. I mean, we're going to see some warmer temperatures by the end of the week, but for right now, we're seeing temperatures in the 30s, 37 degrees right now in DeKalb. Now we're seeing those winds gusting from the northwest at around 14 miles an hour. Because of that, combined with the temperatures, we're only feeling like we're in the 20s, 28 degrees in DeKalb. Now we're going to be seeing these temperatures rather cold for the whole day. We're going to be staying in the upper 30s, but right now 36 in Winnebago, 35 in Mount Morris, 37 in Dixon. So definitely get ready for some colder weather as we're seeing those temperatures rather cold. And in spite of these cold temperatures, I do have a weather trivia for you guys, and it has to relate to snow, right? So we're going to be saying, when does Rockford typically see a dusting of snow on the ground? A, September 25th, October 30th, and November 10th and December 10th. Manny, what do you think?
I have no idea because I am not.
Have you ever seen snow?
Once. I'm the worst person to ask. I am going to guess B.
It is B.
Oh, let's go.
So in records, the earliest snowfall was recorded on September 25th, 1928.
Wow.
So that's the earliest time that we've ever seen snowfall. So are you looking forward to this winter coming up?
So excited. I'm extremely excited for all the activities that come with it, but not the bad driving.
Yes, I feel that on so many levels. Yeah. Back over to you, Manny.
Thank you, Kelsey. Coming up, making wishes come true, how residents are coming together to help the lives of children right here in Rockford. Right now at 5:30, Rockford police responding after a man was shot in the arm overnight. What we know at this hour. Plus, one student found dead at one nearby university. What NIU officials are saying right now. And we're looking ahead for tonight's meeting in Stevenson County, where local CNAs may receive another pay bump.
From 13 WREX, your weather authority. This is 13 News Today.
Good morning and welcome to 13 News Today. I'm Manny Estopinan. A look at our downtown Rockford camera, looking quiet but chilly. Kelsey Emery joins us to break down what the morning is going to bring us. I heard you say the S word in the newsroom earlier, Kelsey. Give me some good news that's not a reality.
Yeah, so we're going to be seeing very cold temperatures for the day. It's going to be kind of the story for the next couple of days is very cold, very brisk conditions. Feeling a lot like January rather than the end of October. 37 degrees right now in Rockford, and we're seeing those cloudy skies in the background. Now these temperatures are so cold because we're also seeing a wind on top of that, making it feel like it is in 26 degrees. So we're seeing those temperatures around the 30s across the board, 37 in Rockford, 37 in Dixon, 34 in Monroe, and 34 in Sterling. So do give yourself time to bundle up before heading out to the bus stop or even heading out to work, as we're seeing those very cold temperatures. Now we will be struggling to get into the upper 30s to low 40s. Now we will be seeing those windy conditions throughout the day, as you can see those trees moving at the bottom left of your screen right now. We're going to be seeing those temperatures get into the 30s by noontime. I'll be tracking some, when we'll be seeing those flurries coming up in just a little bit. Manny, back over to you.
Kelsey, thank you for that. Your 13 News time is 5:32. Let's get to our top story this morning. Rockford police are investigating a shooting after a man was injured last night. Take a look here on this map where Rockford police responded to the 2400 block of Auburn Street. RPD tweeted just before 10 p.m. that a man was shot in the arm and sustained non-life-threatening injuries. This is a developing story, and we'll continue to provide you updates as soon as they come into our newsroom. A Northern Illinois University student died in a residence hall building on Friday. Police say officers responded to an unconscious student at Patterson Hall, formerly known as New Hall, at around 1 p.m. Friday. Emergency responders attempted to save the life of the student, but was later pronounced dead. NIU officials are withholding the student's identity until family and friends have been notified. Turning now to developing news out of Chicago, where a woman is charged with killing her landlord and will not be getting out of jail anytime soon. On Friday, a Cook County judge ordered Sandra Kolalu to be held on no bail in court. Prosecutors told the judge that the landlord, Francis Walker, put an eviction notice on Kolalu's door last week and that other tenants heard the two arguing. Police were called to the house 3 times to check on Walker, the third time discovering some of Walker's body parts in a freezer. Police say Kolalu got help from a tow truck driver to dump more remains in front of a nearby lake. 2 people, including a Chicago firefighter, were hospitalized after a crash in Cook County Sunday morning. Illinois State Police and Chicago fire officials responded to a hit-and-run crash on Interstate 290 around 5 a.m. ISP officials say an SUV hit the ISP squad car and CFD fire truck on the side of the road. Both the driver of the SUV and a firefighter were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The ISP trooper was not hurt. The SUV driver has been cited for a violation of Scott's Law, DUI, and other traffic violations, according to ISP. The crash is still under investigation at this time. Turning now over to our meteorologist, Kelsey Emery, with what we need to know before we head out the door on this beautiful but chilly morning. Kelsey?
Yeah, Manny, we're seeing those very cold conditions right now. We're seeing those temperatures in the 30s in Freeport, but because of those winds, it only feels like it is in the 20s, 29 degrees for the most part. Now we will be starting to see those temperatures cool down a little bit. We're going to be struggling to get into the 30s for the day. Like you can see, 36 in Winnebago, 37 in Rochelle, and 37 in Rockford. I'll have a full look at your forecast coming up in just a little bit. Manny, back over to you.
Thank you, Kelsey. People from across the state line walked for a cause Saturday to support those in need with severe illnesses. 13's WREX Destin Howard has more on that story for us.
Sitting down with those families and having them literally say to you, this is the first time we've smiled in months.
The Make-A-Wish Foundation strives to grant wishes for those children diagnosed with critical illnesses and health challenges. People in Rockford came together to not only celebrate those wishes, but the progress made by those children.
Today is our annual walk. We've been doing it for a number of years out here at Rock Valley College, and it's a great opportunity for Wish families here locally to get together. That's to celebrate, to kind of share their stories. It's they've been through a shared experience.
The Myers family has their own story to tell. Crystal Myers, mother of Amelia Myers, says they never expected this struggle.
So we brought her to the ER and she got this terminal brain disease diagnosis, and so to our family it was just devastating. Amelia went from being a healthy, normal 9-year-old little girl to being diagnosed with a terminal brain disease, and so for us it was devastating.
Myers says the Make-A-Wish Foundation and community support brought joy back to her family.
As her Girl Scout family's here, our family's here, our neighbors are here, and so it's just so nice to have the community of people rallying behind these children that have had such terrible diagnoses.
According to Wish grantor Costello, funding raised from the walk directly supports children in need right here in the state line.
Everything we raise here today will go back to support kids right here in Rockford, in the Rockford area who need wishes.
To find out more about the Make-A-Wish Foundation, be sure to visit our website at WREX.com. Looking ahead to the stories that impact you, the answer to whether an abortion clinic should open in one neighborhood will be determined in a city council meeting tonight. This comes after 11 businesses signed an open letter to the city council against the opening of the clinic in the neighborhood, demanding city council amend the C2 limited commercial district zoning classification. And although the clinic has not yet opened, businesses say this should have prevented owners to open the clinic in the first place. Some businesses in the area and members of the Rockford Family Initiative plan to present the letter at the next council meeting tonight. Stevenson County Nursing Home Walnut Acres will vote on whether or not to increase wages and approve about $70,000 in state funding to raise CNA's pays for the second time. This comes after the rescheduling of the first meeting 2 weeks ago, when only 9 out of the 22 members attended, and talks on how additional funding may be more than the county is prepared for. We will have continuing coverage on this story throughout the week. Today kicks off an important milestone for the Rockford Public Library. This week, Mayor Tom McNamara will be naming October 16th through October 22nd Rockford Public Library Week in honor of the library's foundation, celebrating 150 years. The Rockford Public Library was founded back in 1872 as the second library in Illinois and currently has 4 festivities. The mayor's proclamation is scheduled for this Wednesday at the Rockford City Council meeting. A big development for those of you looking for student loan forgiveness. The website to apply for that relief is released for you to use. It's important to note, though, that this is a beta version of the software. This next step comes after President Biden announced his debt relief plan in August. The plan cancels $10,000 of debt depending on your income, and you can knock off another $10,000 if you got a Pell Grant. The formal application period runs through the end of 2023. We are less than a month from the November midterms. They bring up an important milestone, the first time we're voting under the new census maps. Change in Illinois and Rockford Urban Ministries held a town hall meeting over the weekend to educate people about the importance of redistricting maps across the state. Organizers say the goal of the meeting was to show voters where their district was and educate them about what they're voting on.
We are discussing gerrymandering, redistricting, and how to change the process for the 2030 census so that our maps can be drawn by the people for the people instead of by elected officials for elected officials.
According to Smith, there will be more town halls in the future, open to anyone who wishes to attend. Today marks the deadline for Illinois residents to receive their relief checks. As part of the Illinois Family Relief Plan, residents across the state may be eligible for income and property tax rebate checks. Those who have yet to receive one may complete a form that is due today. For more information on eligibility requirements, visit our website at wrex.com. And coming up, the one girl from Arkansas has worked for years, all to bring a resource that she says her community needed. Plus,
Beef bourguignon. Beef bourguignon. Beef bourguignon. If only I could say it like Julia Child did. A few weeks ago, I was watching some vintage clips of Julia Child on YouTube, and I couldn't help but think how ahead of her time she was. The episode that stuck in my head was when she made beef bourguignon, which is basically a rich beef stew accented with red wine. So the other day, I made my version of it, and now I want to share it with you. We begin by cutting some beef chuck into cubes. Then we add it to a bowl and season it with a bit of pepper and thyme before browning it in a large pot. Once it's browned, we add some beef broth, red wine, and a bit of garlic. We cover it and let it simmer. After this cooks for a bit, we'll toss in some chunks of carrot, potato, onions, and mushrooms and let those cook until they're tender. All that's left to do is thicken up the sauce, and it's ready to serve. It's so basic, yet sounds so fancy. As for the taste, the sauce is so rich, the meat is crazy tender, and the vegetables bring the whole dish together. To get the recipe for what Julia called beef bourguignon, with her one-of-a-kind accent. Or to most of us, simply beef bourguignon. Just go to our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a Julia Child-inspired way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
For this recipe and more, go to WREX.com and click on the Mr. Food link.
Good morning and happy Monday. Hopefully you're having a great start to your day. It's going to feel very chilly out there, much like January rather than the middle of October. We're going to be seeing those temperatures in the 30s, 33 degrees right now in Monroe, but it feels like it is in the 20s now. Temperatures across the board are in the upper 30s, 35 in Mount Morris, 36 in Rochelle, 36 in Woodstock, and 37 in Roscoe. So definitely a chillier start to the day. You're going to want to grab an extra cup of coffee, a hat, jacket, anything to keep warm, especially if you're heading out to the school bus, as we're going to be seeing those temperatures in the 30s all morning with some peaks of sun here and there. I'll have a full look at your forecast coming up in just a little bit. Manny, back over to you.
Thanks, Kelsey. In Arkansas, a girl worked for years to bring a resource she says is needed in her community. The project is aimed to help every girl feel confident as they grow up. Imani Williams shares her story.
Sitting on the corner of South 2nd Avenue and West Court Street in Piggott are two lockers with lion engraved on the handles. But when you open the locker, you can find hygiene products that are essential, like liners and baby wipes.
While you're driving by, it just looks like a locker, but if you actually take the time to come and stop by and look at it, open it up, you'll see that it's actually something that you can grab and donate.
Jacqueline Clark is a senior Girl Scout. Clark said she wanted to bring something to her community that she felt was needed for everyone, but especially girls her age.
Whenever you're in your teenage years and you know it's that time and you're just starting and you don't want to tell your mom and you're around Piggott and you don't want to go to the store or anything, this is extremely helpful because you know you can just go get what you need.
Clark said sometimes it's hard to find certain items in Piggott, so this makes those items easier to find.
Because like in the stores, sometimes you can't find what you're needing in like the stores, especially like here in Piggott. And then while it's here, it's easier to come get.
It took her 3 years to bring this hygiene locker to Piggott and 50 hours of work recently.
And then getting it here and putting everything here, it was not easy.
Clark said knowing it would help someone that she may call a neighbor pushed her to the finish line.
Good morning and happy Monday. Hopefully you're having a great start to your week. Now we will be seeing those cold and windy conditions continue for the rest of the day and into tomorrow too, but then we're going to be gradually warming for the end of the week. So if you're not a fan of this cold temperatures, wait just a little bit before you make a judgment call on that. We're going to be seeing those temperatures in the 30s across the board, 36 in Rochelle, 37 in Rockford, 36 in Winnebago, and 35 in Mount Morris. Definitely a cold start, definitely a morning for some hot coffee, hot chocolate, anything to keep warm. I know I wanted to stay under the blankets just a little bit longer this morning as it is very cold to start. Now we won't be getting out of the 30s for the day, 35 degrees by 10 a.m. And as you can see these little icons, it is going to be a very gusty one as well. So let's take a look at what your high temperature is going to be. Temperatures are going to be staying in the 30s. 39 degrees is your high, blustery and cold, and the chance for some afternoon flurries again. Yes, that is what you heard. I'm going to be forecasting that in just a little bit, but take a look at these wind gusts, gusts up to 29 miles an hour in Oregon, 25 miles an hour in Rockford, 29 in Freeport. Definitely so. If anything isn't tethered down like your Halloween decorations, they will be blowing all over the place. So do be aware of that. Maybe even seeing some more gustiness into tonight and tomorrow. Now look at this for this afternoon. Now this morning we don't see anything for the snow for the most part. It is still up to our north. It comes in right around 2 to 3 p.m. and it looks like there's a lot on radar, but that will be changing as we see those gusty winds will be causing very blowing and drifting snow as well. So nothing will be getting to the ground in accumulation. It's just going to decrease your visibility. So give yourself plenty of time this afternoon to get to and from work or school. Temperatures tonight dropping back into the 20s, 27 degrees, mostly cloudy and very breezy. And like I said, we're going to be gradually warming into the 40s and 50s by the end of the week, 69 degrees for the weekend. It's like we flipped the switch and are back into summer. And for your most accurate 10-day forecast, the 60s are staying in the forecast for the long run. Manny, back over to you.
Thank you, Kelsey. Coming up, as holiday season approaches, traveling is expected to increase, but more travelers are changing the way they go about things with their luggage. And beginning today, Americans will now be able to buy hearing aids over the counter with no prescription. What prompted the change? Welcome back. It's a big week for earnings and the demand for travel as the holiday season comes closer. CNBC's Contessa Brewer looks ahead at the week in business.
A big week of earnings, updates on the housing market, and tip-off for the NBA season, all in the week ahead. A very important week of earnings. Tesla, Netflix, and Bank of America headline the week, plus 7 Dow components report, among them Goldman Sachs, IBM, Procter & Gamble, and Johnson & Johnson. We'll also hear more about travel demand from American and United Airlines. Manufacturing and housing data will be in focus too. September industrial production numbers and an update on home builder sentiment hit on Tuesday, plus lots more insights on the housing market. We get housing starts and mortgage application numbers Wednesday, and then the latest existing home sales figures out on Thursday. The new NBA season starts Tuesday, and among the favorites to win it all this year, the Boston Celtics, Golden State Warriors, Phoenix Suns and my Milwaukee Bucks. Last season, the basketball league brought in a record $10 billion in revenue. And Taylor Swift's new album, Midnights, is released on Friday. It's the 10th studio album from the 32-year-old singer-songwriter. She was one of the country's top-selling artists last year with 2.4 million albums sold and even outsold Adele. According to Billboard, 1 out of every 50 albums sold in the U.S. last year was from none other than Taylor Swift. I'm Contessa Brewer. Get all your business news on CNBC.
Let's get you to more consumer news that may impact you. As we move into holiday season, traveling will increase, but more air travelers are avoiding checking baggage when they fly. Experts say 60% of flyers reported some kind of disruption while traveling by air during the summer. And out of 1,700 Americans that have flown recently, 1 in 6 said their luggage was lost or delayed. And according to those numbers, 41% of flyers now say they will avoid checking in with a bag in the future. Transportation experts agree that staffing shortages at airports combined with high travel demand are at the root of the problem. Starting today, millions of Americans will be able to buy hearing aids over the counter without a prescription. Prior to the new FDA rules taking effect, hearing aids cost an average between $4,000 and $5,000. They also required a trip to a licensed audiologist. Now, consumers who need them will be able to pick them up at retailers like Best Buy. Turning now over to our meteorologist, Kelsey Emery, with what you need to know before you head out the door this morning. Kelsey, it was quite windy this morning. Are we going to be feeling those chills later this afternoon?
Good morning, Manny. We're going to be seeing these rather windy conditions continue into this afternoon. Right now we're looking at radar with a few flurries in the area. Most of these aren't making it to the ground, but it's still cold enough in the air to have those flurries be flying. Now we are seeing those temperatures in the 30s, 36 degrees right now, and it only feels like it is in the 20s because of that rather gusty wind. Now these temperatures are in the 30s across the board. I'll have a full look at your forecast coming up in just a little bit. Manny, back over to you.
Thank you, Kelsey. Coming up in our next hour of 13 News today, one organization is making wishes come true for children right here in Rockford. And how one tree has been dedicated on a property in DeKalb in honor of a resident.